Welcome, everyone. This is the Prophecy News Update from Wings of the Eagle. My name is Christopher Manti, and on this Monday morning, we have a Russian jet, or airplane, shot down over Syria. And they are blaming Israel. This is the Prophecy News Update, a short 5-minute or less video brought to you by Wings of the Eagle. Real news that you can trust from a Christian ministry. The news that God would have you know, that God's word declares where we should be looking. So if we keep our focus, then we will know what we should know and not be distracted by the enemy, by fellow man, by things that just don't matter. So we hope that you would continue to support this mission of Wings of the Eagle. So the details on this is last night there was an attack, as it turns out, by Israel on some targets of the Syrian regime, in other words, Bashar al-Assad's forces. This was near the Mediterranean coast, Latakia and some other areas. It was a fairly large bombardment by Israel. In the middle of it, you have, as always, the Syrians launching their air defense fire, which is basically guns and some missiles, but they almost never hit anything. You always hear about when there's updates from Syria, there's an attack going on. Invariably, the Syrian government will say, we have engaged the enemy with our air defense systems, but they don't hit anything, hardly ever. They're not very good at it, is the point. I could hardly imagine that America, if we were attacked and we missed on 95% of the on our targets, that that'd be a problem. So they really don't hit much, but when they do, it's by accident. And so this is what happened last night. And so first there was great debate about who shot who down and what's happening. Did Israel shoot down the Russians? That's how the spin came out at first, but it turns out, yes, the Syrians actually hit the Russian plane. It was carrying over a dozen Russian soldiers, and they died. The plane went down. And so that certainly is terrible, but Israel didn't do it. Even though we have proof that they did not do it, Russia is now saying Israel is responsible. They, quote, use the Russian plane as a cover, exposing it to fire from Syrian air defenses. And Russia is saying Israel is guilty of deliberate provocations and blame the Israeli Air Force for pushing the jet into the line of Syrian missiles. This is silly. As usual, Russia is lying. I hope you all know that. There's obviously great controversy here in America right now with the Russians and Donald Trump and our political parties all saying that, Russia is influencing our elections and all these things. And it almost leads to folks wanting to support the Russians and what they're doing. Please don't do that, okay? This is not a trustworthy government. Vladimir Putin is not a good person. He's a snake and a liar. He's trained by the KGB. It's just the way it is. So please do not believe any spin coming out of Russia. Just don't. They are in Syria for one reason, to oppose the United States. That's it. Now, the fact that they are now ratcheting up the invective against Israel is very interesting. I know some prophecy students are taught and believe that Russia will actually come against Israel in the Battle of Gog of Magog, and so forth. That is not the case. That is not true. That is not what we teach here at Wings of the Eagle. So I encourage you to stay tuned for the real news. Make sure we're looking through the lies of the enemy and of, frankly, the nations that are always spinning things in their own way. Israel is doing what they have to do to defend themselves. These attacks last night were to prevent Hezbollah from obtaining greater weapons to attack them with. So this is how it goes. Let's continue to pray for the situation. Please, if you support us, please click below and go to wingsoftheeagle.com/donate. You can also learn all about the end times in every book that it comes up in at the End Times for Beginners.com. That is a seminary level course that is endorsed by Joel Richardson and many others, pastors and church leaders. I encourage you to take that to learn the real deal about what the Bible actually says about the end times. And by the way, if you're looking for a church, if you're discouraged, if you're without a church family, come on over. Endtime.church is for you. We will see you next time on Wings of the Eagle Prophecy News Update.